Good evening everyone and welcome back to our channel. I am Twinkle Quatra from IME Law College and currently a legal intern at Lexis and Company. And today I will talk about the concept of adoption under Hindu Adoption and Maintenance Act. This term adoption has been used in Manusmriti and has described in Manusmriti as the transplantation of a child from one family to another. This transplantation of a child or this adoption of a son doesn't only mean that the son has been adopted, but the son that is adopted will reflect the natural son, right? Now this Hindu Adoption and Maintenance Act has widened the term of adoption by using the term child, which doesn't mean only the adopted son but also the adopted son and along with that adopted daughter. And according to Hindu Adoption and Maintenance Act, Hindu means not only a person that is following Hinduism but also Buddhism, Jaini, Sikh, Lingyat or member of Arya Samaj. And basically it means that a person that is not a Christian, Muslim, Parsis or Jews, right? This was a brief introduction of what is adoption and what describes adoption. Now we will read the term adoption, or we will understand the meaning of adoption and the provisions related to it according to the Bear Act. Section 1 to 4 of the Bear Act is same as it is in Hindu Marriage Act. It tell us that where the act is extended and who is Hindu, that I have told you before as well, and overriding effect of the act, and also the definition of custom and so these four sections are basic. And now I will start with the main section, that is section 5. So section 5 says adoption to be regulated by this chapter. It means that if any adoption will happen or is going to happen after the commencement of this act, then the provisions under this chapter has to be followed, otherwise that adoption will be void. And if that adoption will be void, then that adopted child cannot claim the right in the adopted family, and also cannot destroy the right of any member of that family. So this was the provision set in section 5. Now we will read section 6, that is the requisite of the valid adoption. So what are the points that is necessary for a valid adoption? So first is that the person who is adopting a child should be capable and should have a right to adopt the child. Second is that the person who is giving an adoption should have the capacity to do that. And third is that if the person who is going to be adopted should be capable of that. And the last is that the adoption is made in a compliance with the other condition that have been mentioned, and we will read that other condition further in this Bear Act. So these were section 5 and 6. Now the important section that comes, section 7, which tell the capacity of a male to take an adoption. So it will tell us that if a male will adopt a child, then what will be his capacity. So firstly, that male should be not a minor and that male should be of sound mind. So this is the first condition, that he should not be a minor and he should be of a sound mind. And second is that if that male is having a wife, then that without the consent of that wife, he cannot adopt a child unless that wife has renounced the world and has been has been declared unsound mind by the court, or has been stopped the practice of Hindu religion. So these are the three conditions where the consent of the wife is not necessary, but otherwise the consent should be taken by the husband from the wife. And the third point of this section is that if a person is having more than one wife, because before 1956 there were the conditions, or there were the situation when the person were having more than one wife. So in that condition, all the wives should give consent, otherwise the adoption will be considered void. And if a wife is of unsound mind, or has been declared by the court of unsound mind, or has been renounced the world, or has been stopped practicing Hindu religion, in that case only the consent will not be necessary, otherwise the consent of all the wife will be necessary. So these were section 5, 6, 7. I hope you are getting these section. Now we will come to section 8, that is capacity of a female Hindu to take adoption. So if a Hindu female takes the adoption, then she should not be a minor first, and she should be of a sound mind second. And the next point is that if she is having a husband, then without the consent of the that husband, she cannot adopt a child. And also if that husband is has been declared by the court of unsound mind, or has been renounced the world, or he has stopped practicing Hindu religion, then only she can adopt without that without the consent of the husband. Otherwise, she have to take the consent. So section 8 or the capacity of a female is similar to capacity of a male. So now section 9 comes, that is person capable of giving the adoption. So now I will tell you what are the people who are capable of giving the adoption. So first clause of this section says that a father, a mother, and a guardian of the child is capable of giving the adoption to other person. So if a mother and the father are alive, then they have to take the consent of each other before giving the adoption to anyone. Otherwise, the adoption will be void. And if one of them is of unsound mind, or has been declared by the court of unsound mind, or renounced the world, or has stopped practicing Hindu religion, only in that case the consent is not necessary. So this is a basic condition that we are reading again and again in all the sections. So you should keep these three things in mind. So if the person if the mother and father are alive, I told you they have to take the consent. But if they are dead, then or they have renounced the world, or they have abandoned the child, or has been declared by the court of unsound mind, or if the parentage of the child is not clear, in that case the guardian of the child can give the adoption with the prior condition of the court, and he can give the adoption to himself as well and to anybody, but he or she have to take the permission from the court. And also the most important thing is that there should be no reward in consideration of the child. For example, that guardian should not get anything in return. If he is giving the adoption of the child to anybody, then he should not get anything in return. There should be no consideration. And in the same way, he should also not give any money or anything else, that take this child, I will give you this, or the applicants are saying that give me this child, I will give you money. This is not the condition, that the adoption will be considered void. And now for this I will tell you the explanation. It says that father and mother are not do not include adopted father and adopted mother, and guardian is the person who will take care of that person and that person's property. And this guardian should be appointed by the child father and mother, or through the court. And in this case the court should one more important thing is that the court should also before giving the adoption to any other person, the court should also think or the court should also look that this adoption is for the welfare of that child. And for this matter, if that child is big enough, or he or she can understand things, then the consent of that child will also be taken by the court. So before giving adoption to anybody, and if the guardian is coming to take the permission of the court that I want to give the adoption of this child to this person or that person, then court should consider this, that is it for the welfare of the child or not. So in this regard, the court means the city civil court or a district court. So these were the section from 5 to section 9, and in my next video I will tell you from section 10 to 17. And in that it is that person who may be who should be adopted, and other conditions that we talked in section 6, the subclause of sections 4 of section 6. So these are the conditions I will tell you in my next video. And till then, keep liking, keep sharing, and subscribe to our channel. Thank you.